Over the years, Marvel has become one of the most iconic brands in Hollywood. The studio has given us some of the biggest blockbusters in recent memory, including Iron Man, the Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. With so many hits under the belt, it's hard to imagine Marvel's success coming from anything but a deep desire to entertain fans of all ages. But the path has not been smooth for Marvel. In fact, most of its franchises had humble beginnings that didn't necessarily foreshadow their incredible run in the record books. However, which movie has been the most iconic? Which film will stand the test of time the longest? Which Marvel movie will be remembered for generations to come? So what movie has been the most iconic? Well, it's up for you to decide. Today, we're looking at a list of 10 of the most iconic Marvel movies ever made. Before we dive into this countdown, let's test your knowledge with a quick trivia question. What was the name of Steve Rogers' commanding officer during World War II in Captain America, the first Avenger? A. Peggy Carter, B. Howard Stark, C. Chester Phillips. Hang in there for the answer to this movie trivia and feel free to put your answer in the comments. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. And here we go. Number 10, Iron Man 2008. Iron Man hit theaters in 2008 and introduced moviegoers to the world of Tony Stark. This first solo outing for the character was a definite game changer as it began Marvel's Phase 1. With the first movie in the franchise introducing us to Tony, Rhodey, Pepper, and Happy, we were given a look at the world of superheroes before the massive scale of the Avengers. Iron Man also introduced two of the most popular characters in the Marvel Universe. While we love Tony Stark and Pepper Potts, we can't forget that this movie also introduced us to Obadiah Stane and Happy Hogan. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. Guardians of the Galaxy is a movie that had a lot to live up to. Marvel had already given us the Avengers, which was a huge success for the studio, so it was going to take something really special to keep Marvel on top. Guardians delivered on that promise by bringing together an unlikely group of heroes led by Peter Quill. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy introduced moviegoers to Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot. The ragtag group of misfits worked together to save the universe from Ronan the Accuser and his army of Sakurans. This movie also set up Thanos as a serious threat in MCU, which will likely play out in Avengers, Infinity War in 2018, and Avengers 4 in 2019. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which played out in Avengers Infinity War in 2018 and Avengers 4 in 2019. Number 8, Black Panther 2018. Black Panther is one of Marvel's most popular characters, but he hadn't had much screen time over the years. That all changed with Black Panther, which brought T'Challa into focus for the first time since Captain America: Civil War. This solo outing for Black Panther gave us our first look at Wakanda, as well as the rest of Dora Milaje. Black Panther introduced us to a lot of new characters in the MCU, including Shuri and Everett Ross. While Black Panther is still very new to theaters, it's already made a huge impact on the MC universe, introducing us to Wakanda for the first time and helping us set up Avengers Infinity War. Number 7, Iron Man 3 2013. Iron Man 3 took Tony Stark on an emotional journey as he battled with PTSD after the Avengers. This movie showed how much damage Tony had suffered from his battle with aliens in New York during the Avengers, and it had a lasting impact on him that would carry on into future movies. This movie also introduced us to Shane Black as director for their standalone, which was an easy task given that Jon Favreau had directed the first two movies in the franchise. 6. Captain America: The First Avenger 2011. Captain America: The First Avenger is one of Marvel's most beloved movies due to its epic action scenes and heartfelt story about friendship between Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes. The movie was also one of Marvel's most original as it took place in the 1940s and didn't feature any characters that fans had already met in previous movies. Number 5. Avengers: Infinity War 2018. Avengers Infinity War is one of Marvel's most epic movies to date. This movie is a culmination of the first decade of Marvel movies, bringing together nearly all of her favorite characters in one epic battle against Thanos and his army. While it was an emotional roller coaster to watch, Avengers Infinity War delivered some amazing action scenes and a ton of memorable moments that will likely live on for generations. Number 4. Black Panther 2018. Black Panther is one of Marvel's best solo outings ever, as it gave us a look at one of Marvel's most popular characters and introduced us to Wakanda for the first time. With Black Panther, we saw T'Challa grow into this role as King of Wakanda and take on Killmonger while also proving himself as a worthy Avenger along the way. The movie also introduced us to Wakanda and its people for the first time, giving us a glimpse at its unique country before Avengers Infinity War. Number 3. Captain America Civil War 2016. Captain America Civil War is the movie that started Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In this movie, we get to see Captain America and Iron Man go head-to-head as they took different sides on the Sokovia Accords. This movie also gave us an introduction to Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man in their first on-screen appearances. With Captain America Civil War, Marvel showed us that its movies could be just as good as its comics with this epic superhero adventure. Number 2. Thor Ragnarok 2017. Thor Ragnarok is one of the funniest movies that Marvel has ever produced. With this movie, the God of Thunder found himself in an unfamiliar place, having been captured and brought to Sakaar. The movie threw Thor into a gladiator-style arena where he was forced to become a champion in order to save Asgard from Hela. Thor Ragnarok was filled with action, plenty of laughs, and some excellent performances from its cast. While the story was a little bit generic for a superhero movie, it's hard not to have fun while you're watching Thor Ragnarok. Before we get to number 1, let's take a look back at the trivia question from earlier. What was the name of Steve Rogers' commanding officer during World War II in Captain America: The First Avenger? A. Peggy Carter, B. Howard Stark, C. Chester Phillips. The answer is C. Colonel Chester Phillips was the commanding officer of Steve Rogers during World War II in Captain America: The First Avenger. He was one of the key members of the Super Soldier Project that made Captain America. Colonel Chester Phillips was also a founding member of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now that you know the answer to the trivia question, let's get back to number 1 in the list of most iconic Marvel movies. You might have guessed it. Number 1, Avengers Endgame 2019. Avengers Endgame is Marvel's most epic movie to date. In this movie, we saw the Avengers band together to take on Thanos and his army once more in an epic battle for the future of our galaxy. While many fans were disappointed with the ending, this movie was still the perfect way to end the first decade of Marvel movies. We still got to see some characters return, some take their final bow, and see a new chapter begin in a way that only Marvel could do it. Endgame is a fitting conclusion to the first decade of Marvel movies, and for that reason, we're naming it the most iconic Marvel movie of all time. It's the movie we've been waiting for the entire decade, and it was worth the wait. In this movie, Marvel truly surpassed everything they've done in the past to give us an unforgettable experience. Spoiler alert, Iron Man dies. But in this movie, we lose a lot of people. We see the deaths of Steve Rogers, Black Widow, and Bucky Barnes, among many others. But one character's death was more shocking than all the rest. Tony Stark dies in the third act of the film. It's a heartbreaking scene to watch, and it made a lot of fans very upset. However, it did set up what's coming next for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That does it for the top 10 most iconic Marvel movies. We hope you liked it. Agree or disagree? Feel free to leave a comment below. Also, be sure to subscribe, comment, and like this clip. We put out a video several times a week, so ring that bell to be notified when we post new content. Thanks for watching.